for this one person with autism because it's very, it's hard to block out those small sounds and small sights. I'm going to actually skip through. There's a couple myths and facts about autism that I was going to share and kind of roll through, Tracy. Basically, the point is that we're going to skip in terms of time. But the point to get to is that all people with autism are different, and that is not the first thing to think about when you meet people with autism. And this video, it's a very quick one, kind of will talk to that in terms of people with ADHD rather than autism, but you can take the same message from it. The student with the great laugh, the student who really likes Elmo, the student who, sings very well, but most of the time when I meet somebody with autism, that's not even the first thing that I talk about, or most of the time, because basically there's so much more that makes up an individual that that's not the first thing we talk about. In addition, you'll see that more and more in media, as things have gotten more progressive, you hear less talk about the autistic kid. It's the person with autism or just the person, because it's not, for instance, if you had really bad handwriting, if you're like me, you do, and if you said, the bad handwriting kid, like that's who you are, and that doesn't even make any sense, because that's not really what describes you. So that's what that kind of leads to. Tracy's going to take some time to talk about autism awareness and
this slide just touches on the video. What we just saw, I imagine was like walking down the street and having autism. This is what a child with autism feels like every day. Here's some characteristics of children with autism. I'm not going to read them all to you, but some of the things, apparently sensitive to pain, some of them don't like cuddling, eye contact's hard, difficulty in expressing needs. The Autism Awareness Ribbon. This is the ribbon that I have on, and we have a baskets for you. I did originally, and I want to thank the Autism Society of Philadelphia for donating them to us. The puzzle pattern of this ribbon reflects the mystery and complexity of autism. The different colors and shapes represent the diversity of people and families living with this disorder. The brightness of this ribbon signals hope. Hope that through research and increasing awareness in people like you. I'm not quite done, but when you're leaving, please grab one of these, and if you could wear it, especially for April, that we'd really appreciate it. You can put it in a backpack, and if you'd like more, or you didn't have a chance to get one, you can always stop down in our classroom, and we'll get you some more. This is a video by a teenage boy with Asperger's syndrome.
As some of you may know, April is Autism Awareness Month. What a lot of you probably do not know is that 3 months ago, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, which is an autism spectrum disorder. In light of those two things, I felt that it was very important for me to make a video about autism awareness. Now, I typically don't like awareness videos because I never feel like they give you information that is really necessary for bringing the actual awareness. So I'm going to try to not present this video in the same way as your average awareness video. I'm not going to give you facts facts or statistics. I simply have 10 things that I want to share with you. 5 things that we wish you knew and understood about us, and 5 tips on how to care for someone with an autism spectrum disorder. First, I want to talk about the things that we wish you knew about us. Number 1, we're different. You can't compare us to other people or think about us the same way you think about everyone else. Because autism spectrum disorders are neurological, we might look totally normal on the outside, when in fact we think and behave very differently than most normal people. Number 2, we're not disabled. Sure, there are lots of things that can make it difficult for us to function on a day-to-day basis. That doesn't mean we're not capable of living our own lives. Number 3, we don't always react appropriately. Usually, people with autism spectrum disorders have a hard time processing and understanding societal norms, especially in terms of social interaction. It doesn't mean that we're immature or that we don't care. It just means that sometimes we don't know how we're supposed to act or respond. Number 4, we don't usually understand emotion. Oftentimes, we won't react appropriately simply because we don't understand the emotion in that given situation. Again, it doesn't mean that we don't care. It's just hard for us to know how to react. And number 5, we're not broken. We don't need fixing, we don't need some kind of solution, and we certainly don't need a cure. We need people to love and accept us, and we need them to understand that this is who we are. Those are kind of the top 5 that are really important for me, and now I'd really like to share with you my 5 tips on how to care for someone on the autism spectrum. Number 1, be patient. Sometimes it can take us a lot longer to answer questions and do tests, simply because we're thinking about it in a lot more detail than most people normally would. A lot of the time, for people with autism spectrum disorders, especially people with Asperger's syndrome, it can almost feel as if we're speaking in a second language when we're talking to other people. We need a certain level of grace so that when we make mistakes, which we will, we don't have to be afraid that you're going to be upset with us. Number 2, listen. Most of the time, we say exactly what we mean to say, and we mean exactly what we say. We need people to listen to what we're trying to say, and to not assume that we might be implying something other than what we are saying. Number 3, try to avoid sudden unexpected change. Sudden change can make us very anxious and nervous. In those situations, we don't know what to do, because we haven't mentally prepared for them. Number 4, ask very detailed questions about things that we are interested in. For example, if somebody really loves airplanes, then you can ask them what is the biggest airplane that was ever made. Having very detailed questions about things we understand helps us to know where your conversation is going and makes it comfortable for us when talking to you. Number 5, please don't get frustrated with us if we don't look at you or make eye contact. We most likely aren't giving you our full attention. We just tend to not look at people who we're talking to because it helps us to concentrate on what we're hearing and saying. And the last thing that I want to share with you is that if you meet someone with an autism spectrum disorder, then you have met one person with an autism spectrum disorder. Autism spectrum disorders are very diverse and they affect people in many different ways. For example, one person might absolutely love surprises, while the other person is absolutely terrified of surprises. The 10 things that I talked about in this video are very informative and they apply to lots of people on the autism spectrum. But you have to remember that this is not an exhaustive list and it is not one-size-fits-all information. If somebody that you know has an autism spectrum disorder, I highly encourage you to do your research, to talk to them, to find out what makes them the way that they are, and what you can do to help them feel more comfortable interacting with you. Because I think I can speak for a lot of us when I say we really just want to be understood. And I think that that's what autism awareness is all about. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this video has helped you understand a little bit more about those of us with autism spectrum disorders. Bye.
I'm just going to go over some of these things on the list very briefly because we're short of time. This is from about 10 things that reach out with autism, which is you knew. Some of them we talked about. One of the really things that we focus on, number 1, is that first and foremost they're a child with autism. Second of all, one of the things we work on is try to identify what triggers our meltdowns. A lot about Milagre, which we can go into all day about behaviors, is trying to prevent and find out what causes them to react the way they do. Let's see, here's just a nice autism poster. I will talk a little bit more about Milagre School at the end. Here's an acronym for autism. This is something that's really important for me. Not being able to speak is not the same as not having anything to say. And people with autism have plenty to say, even if they're not able to speak. This is a Temple Grandin. She's famous, a person with autism, and she's written many books, and I believe she has a doctorate degree too. And this is just a picture of Mark was born with a serious ability. Again, focus on the ability instead of the disability. All right, can you cue that slide for me, please? Thank you. And there's another saying. Turn that one for me again. And there is another acronym about autism. Can you turn it again, please? And autism, be aware, be understanding. Can you turn it? Thank you. Again, they're a person, not a place. Treat them with respect. What can you do? You can't cure autism, but you can increase awareness. You can come up and say hi. You can volunteer with organizations dedicated to ask autism spectrum disorder. For example, we'd love to have more of you come volunteer at Milagre. There's various things you can do. You can work with our students. Maybe you can do an art project with them. Some of you are more behind the scenes. We always need tech help. I have high schoolers. You guys are awesome with tech. We always need to find things on the computer, print things out, pictures. And it doesn't, some of you are more comfortable working behind the scenes, which is great. We could use you in many different capacities. Getting projects ready for our kids, many different things. And most importantly, be a friend. If you happen to see us walking around on campus, feel free to come up to us and say hi. Some of the kids will say hi back, some of them might wave. And some of our kids might even come up to you. We've had a couple of funny stories of our students coming up to you and actually trying to have them have you do their work. So, anything in closing you want to add? Or if you would like more information about coming to help at Milagre, again, any capacity, I will talk to Mrs. Greg for more information. Okay.
I'd like to thank Nicole and Tracy for coming and sharing their perspectives on autism today, please. For the next school year, we are really interested in getting more students involved in the Milagre School. If you have any interest for doing that in the fall, please see me in the next couple weeks on NC11, and we will talk to you about that. As you're exiting today, you'll have the opportunity to pick up a ribbon, and please wear it with pride. Put it on your backpack, let other people know, and Hannah Nixon will close with prayer.
Please pray with me. Loving God, bless today in special ways all the children, adults, and families who see the world through the window of autism. May your spirit burn bright in them, and to celebrate with honor and riches in our diversity during this Autism Awareness Month of April. Grant us, O Lord, the wisdom to see the image reflected in all of our in all of our differences, and to recognize the unique gift we each have to offer. May the doors of our ministry and our schools continue to open wide and welcome all of God's family. We ask you in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Ask the beginning of